You're listening to Tales of the Forsaken, a live play Fate Core game by Noble Jester Productions.
Beorn, you find yourself walking through darkness. Huge magical explosions are filling the sky above you. These massive chaotic beings clash in the sky. The force of their explosions washing over through the sky and over the landscape time and time again. A red dawn breaks over the horizon, revealing just a cold, destroyed, and ruined landscape all around you. The only remaining structure that you can see left in this blasted landscape is a large, dark tower that stretches up into the sky. The top of it stretches past these beings and out of sight. You can't see the top. You continue to walk, just surveying this broken landscape and feel a sense of hopelessness. Finally, you hear the voice of an old man speak. He speaks one word, and his voice ripples across the landscape, emanating from this tower. He says, "Enough!" The force of that word spreads across the landscape, causing all of these beings in the sky to pause and halt. Everything around you stops, waiting for what comes next. A second word resounds across the world. Separate! The world rips into pieces, and your vision doubles, triples, and then splinters into multiple different realities all at once, as each of these great beings in the sky are thrust into separate dimensions. Your sight returns to normal as one of these figures, a massive elven figure, descends down to the ground, sinks down onto his knees, kind of crumples down in weariness. He looks up at you. Your eyes lock for a moment. He says, "Life." Green spreads out from his fingers and knees as he's crouched on the ground, and you can see grass and trees and all sorts of things begin to grow. But your own vision begins to darken. And that's the last thing you see. And then you wake up. You wake up in a pool of blood, but you feel energized, healthy. Any stress boxes that you've taken, any consequences you've taken are all gone. You feel healthy and completely fine.
Okay. Look around. Where am I?
You are in kind of you're a little bit sunk down into the ground, and these events you're remembering them as this hunt master thrust you, down into the ground and was asking you questions and then slit your throat, and you don't see him anywhere around.
Okay. Am I in like a field? Like, am I in the city, or like where am I?
Yeah, you are in kind of that grasslands portion. You did not fly for very long away from the others. Maybe 5 minutes, at a pretty high speed, but you can't be that far away.
Okay, so he didn't like send me up to Alpatram. He just flew away from them and brought me down, was questioning me.
Correct.
Okay.
He was just removing you from the situation so he could question you.
Okay, got it. Do I still feel like I have any connection with the chalice after I've died?
You do.
Okay.
But if you plummet steps again, it's definitely dwindled with how much of it Forebodin used in those last few moments, in those last, in that last fight, and how much you've used in the last few hours. It feels like you've got maybe an eighth of it left, just not very much.
Okay.
You're running out.
Well, I will try to use it to pinpoint Adeline again. Has I've done that before.
Yep. Yeah, you focus in on her again using that spell that Verboten taught you, and feel your kind of consciousness focus in on her, and you have a direction.
Okay, I will get up and start running that way.
Okay. All right. Freya, so you had gathered this group together, and you were going to try to take them to safety. Adeline goes over to Larson's body, and she's trying to check and see if he's alive. She doesn't really know what she's doing, but she's feeling at his chest and his throat, and kind of listening. And she looks up at you and she says, "I think he's alive." You could still leave him, but she's probably not going to leave him.
She's going to just look at Adeline, say, "Adeline, you have to make a decision. We can't stay here."
She reaches down and she kind of scoops him up a little bit. She puts her arms under his and starts slowly dragging him towards you. She says, "I'm taking him with us."
Oh, Adeline. Okay. Freya's going to shake her head, and you're not going to make it. You can't protect him and yourself. You either stay with him or you come with us. She's going to start walking away with the other two on her back.
Okay. She stays with him.
All right.
All right. You go to walk away, and where are you going?
Well, whatever area would seem the safest, which there's no place that's safe at the moment. She's going to be looking for a place to kind of pause and be able to rest.
Yeah. If you're looking for shelter, at this point, your best bet is probably to kind of the northeast, where I think somebody at one point described there being a river there.
Okay. She'll head that way.
All right. Beorn, after probably 30 minutes, so you may be able to run that, but you traveling quickly, you eventually catch up to Adeline, who is pulling Larson's body, and she's sweating, she's moving slowly, she's crying, and she sees you, and her eyes kind of go wide, and she sets him down and runs over to you and just kind of collapses into your arms.
Okay.
She's sobbing.
And it's just her and Larson there together?
Correct.
Okay. Adeline, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. They all left. I wasn't going to leave Larson.
You did great. I kind of look around. We need to stay safe. I'm going to look down at Larson, and can I tell what's wrong with him?
You could make a check of some kind. Either probably like investigate if you want to, just, or maybe physique if you want to, kind of just try to see what you know about him, or you could do it magically and use probably lore or something like that.
Yeah, let's do it magically with lore.
Okay.
Wow, it's the second all. So that's an 8.
Okay. He is very close to death. There's, this was kind of a spell that essentially was meant to kind of separate his spirit, from his body, and it feels like he's barely holding on.
Mm-hmm. Like I done before with Verboten and channeling some that magical healing into him. I want to try to do the same thing with Larson.
With the roll you just rolled, I'm not going to make you roll again. You're able to magically infuse healing into him, and he gasps and his eyes open. And he looks around quickly and says, "Dad, what happened?"
"Son, we've been separated. I was taken by the Huntmaster, and he was asking me something I had not thought of asking it of either of you. Did your Did your mother ever tell you anything that had happened?
Larson just kind of looks confused and says, I don't know what you're talking about. And Adeline looks at you and her eyes go wide and she said never to tell anyone.
You need to tell me. We may not make it out of here. It puts you in danger too, this Huntmaster. He took me and questioned me for this.
It's not even... It's probably not even true. She said she overheard that there were some rebels and they were down under the earth and had been starting to make raids on a few of the smaller mining towns. I don't know how that's even irrelevant.
That could be very relevant. There are people who are fighting back against the elves. They would surely want to know this, and Mother told you this.
Well, I overheard her telling someone else, and she caught me and told me not to ever tell anyone. Do you think Mama was a rebel?
I wouldn't put it past her. Did she... Adeline, can you remember anything else from this, the person she was speaking to, or any other details?
Not really. The only thing was the person she was speaking to was a dwarf. That's all I know.
Okay, well, we need to get you both out. I have something to tell you as well. I found something here in the hunt that I believe can save you both. And I'll pull out the tablet. The Huntmaster had actually... He had killed me, and this spared my life. It can only happen 2 more times, and it needs to be for you both.
What do you mean? You died?
I did. How long ago was it that I was taken away?
I don't... Maybe an hour?
So, based on that math, like I was dead maybe 20 minutes or something?
Yeah, probably
Okay.
15, 20 minutes.
Okay. I was dead enough to have him believe that I wasn't coming back, so we might be able to use this for both of you two. You may have to die, but you must trust me, it will bring you back.
Larson puts out a hand almost like hesitantly and then touches one of those kind of glowing gems. And he says, his eyes wide, he looks at you and he says, but does that mean you're not in the contest anymore?
I don't know how that works. We're thinking of you both.
He looks at your neck and he says, you're covered in blood. Can I? And I assume he has some water.
Mm-hmm.
He rips a piece of cloth off and gets it wet and kind of rubs at your neck. He says, the brand, it's gone.
I kind of reach over and feel.
Yeah, it's gone.
Well, just being free of the hunt doesn't mean I'm free from whatever they're trying to find out. If they know that I'm alive after that, it might be a bigger risk than even the hunt.
He says, Dad, you could go. You could live.
Not without you.
Only one of us is going to survive this. But you don't have to die now. You can live.
Well, if it worked for me, then we could do the same thing. For both of you. We all could live.
You mean we should die?
I mean, to remove the brand from my neck, Can I, using, those last little bit of the chalice, can I figure out, based on the magical stuff the elves have put in place, and the murmurs of this, what that brand was? Do I feel like I could, I would not be prevented from leaving from, magical effects? So I assume that's probably how they were doing some of this, right?
Yeah, from the previous things, because you've done some, kind of magical searching of this before, and from what Pasha had told you, I think it would be pretty simple to put together that you think you could get through the magical barriers around this place now. That they're kind of keyed to those brands. That doesn't mean that they won't chase you, that they won't be angry at you leaving, but you do feel like at least the magical tether that had you here is gone.
Man, that almost feels like our best bet. Yeah, I think I want to try to have us all, based on my knowledge I've covered a decent amount of land here in the Hunt grounds, so whatever I felt like would be the closest perimeter to get us out, I want to get us that direction. I don't want to try to have the kids die and use that now, because if we get hunted, and that puts them at risk. But if we can make it to the perimeter, have them use it there, and we all get out, we might have a chance.
Yeah. You are pretty far east, so you're farther than you've been, and you've never been to any of the barriers, so you're not sure how much farther east you'd have to travel, but that would definitely seem to be the best way to go. Would be, continue to the east, either following the river or just, travel east. You probably want to avoid the forest or the mountains, because you assume at this point they're probably, filled with elves.
Yeah, then if we're pretty far east, then I would say we would keep heading east to see if I can find where that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you continue traveling to the east. After probably 3 or 4 hours, you begin to see the river. You can see from where you're at that the banks of this river have been pretty well worn away. The river itself is much lower than the ground, so it looks like there's lots of caves and things like that along the banks of this river. There's also some trees, like not a heavy tree line, but just some kind of sparse trees here and there along the river.
Okay. Is it like a rushing river? Does it look like something that could be crossed pretty safely?
You could probably cross it. You'd need to get closer to really tell how safely, but it definitely is moving pretty quickly.
Okay.
You would just be able to tell that because it's worn away these banks so much. It's moving pretty quickly, but it's hard to tell from here.
Do I feel like to get out of the boundary of things we need to cross this river, or?
No, probably more like travel with it.
Well, let's do this. I've got a little bit of power left in the chalice, and it's great at creating, so I would like to create a boat.
Okay.
Small boat.
All right. So you go to the river then?
Mm-hmm.
All right. As you're getting closer, I'm going to have you make a stealth check.
That's a 1.
Okay. You begin to make your way towards the river, and you get to one of these kind of natural approaches down to the river, and you start to realize that someone has already passed this way. There are multiple sets of kind of like muddy footprints, but it's hard to tell who or what it was because your roll was bad.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay.
They're like massive paw prints, and he's like, "What's that?"
Although, there's like a mechanical looking tip to these, I feel like that would be like a lower difficulty for the roll.
It wasn't a very difficult roll, and you failed it.
Of my great skill, of course. Yeah, I get it. Well, I'll still follow the tracks because that's the way we're heading. So.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, Freya, so you made your way to the river. You found a cave in the bank of the river that you're now in with these 2 young women, and you begin to hear someone coming down the same path that you took towards the river and your cave.
She would go, and she would kind of back up, still in her tiger form, kind of crouch, prepared to pounce.
All right. You got a pretty bad roll, so you don't notice her. You make your way down to the edge of the river to start creating this boat, and you see these 3 figures. You'd probably recognize who they are.
I would assume so.
Yeah. and they move they pass right in front of the cave and go down to the river, which is 20 feet, not they're moving way past you.
Right. She's just gonna watch them.
Okay.
To see what they do, to see what happens, to see if they get attacked, that sort of thing.
All right. So you are going to start creating a boat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Freya, you begin to hear more sounds behind you in the cave.
Okay. What kind of sounds?
If you had to put money on it, it sounds like a really big spider.
Huh. Okay. So she's just gonna say, "Run!" she's gonna book it. She's gonna book it out of the cave.
All right. So Beorn, you create this boat, a small boat,
Mm-hmm.
and as you're kind of mid-process of creating this, you hear 20 feet behind you, Freya yell, "Run!" and they all run out of this cave. 3 of them. Are you going to continue creating the boat, or are you going to? Because you're going to have to keep focusing on that if you want to create it.
Yeah, I mean, my priority number 1 is creating this boat, so I'm going to focus on that.
All right. Well, this very large spider runs out of the cave after you, and it's going to leap at you.
Okay. Five.
It's a 6.
Oh. Okay.
So you take 1 point of physical stress. Yeah, you guys are up. So Beorn, you're continuing to focus on this boat. Freya, go ahead. You just had this spider jump at you and sink its fangs into you.
She's gonna look at Pasha and tell her, get Caitlin, just keep running to try to get them out.
Okay.
Because looking at Beorn, did you ever clean up your blood? You just still sporting that blood around your neck.
I mean, I'm probably facing away from you, so...
Yeah, right, but I watched you walk
His back
past.
would be just covered in dry blood.
Okay, so Beorn, don't know what's going on with him because he's covered in dry blood and also creating this boat out of nothingness. And Adeline is already seeming useless. And last I knew, Larson wasn't looking so hot.
He's up and moving.
He's up and moving, but I mean,
yeah.
Great, you're walking now, but how much? I mean, he wasn't great with anything. No offense to Larson, but he wasn't great with things before a near-death experience. So in her mind, she's gonna kind of count all 3 of them out as being helpful with anything. And her past of the things that she endured while being tested on and all of that, she just wants the girls to go. She wants to take one for them and still sees a hope and a future for them, but knows that for herself that there's just not going to be much. So anyway, she's going to tell them to go and focus on fighting this spider.
Okay.
So she's going to turn back around and let out a giant roar and try to sink her teeth into it.
Okay.
Whoops, that got out of hand. Oh. Okay. That's a 3.
He also got a 3.
Oh, so what does that mean?
So that means you would fail, essentially.
Oh, okay. So that's still not great for me.
His defense.
You said it like it meant something else.
Yeah. His defense was enough to match that.
Dang. Okay.
So you kind of rip yourself out of his fangs and try to grab onto him, and the spider just scurries to the side, and then it's going to leap back at you. This time, it's like shooting webs at you as it's leaping at you.
Okay. We just watched Lord of the Rings with the spider scene, so this is all very fresh in my head. Okay.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of, too.
Okay.
So.
Ooh.
That, I might as well not even roll. I can't beat whatever that is.
That's a 10.
Ugh. Oh, no. 3.
Okay. So it lands on you, and it's not going to do damage to you because it was trying to wrap you up in its webs, but it definitely succeeds at that. So it wraps you up in these webs and you feel yourself kind of unable to move. It's going to get 2 free invokes on this wrapped up aspect. And as you are wrapped up, there's kind of a shriek from a tree up on the bank, and this figure dive bombs down out of the tree at you, and it's going to kind of land on your head. These large claws and this large mask that has like a beak on it.
No, I don't like those. Those are really creepy.
The hawk.
And he just starts ripping at you.
The hawk is back. He's a little gnome in a loincloth.
So how many hunters were left?
There were 5 left.
What? Still 5?
Mm-hmm.
Shooting. And then there's 2 right here.
Correct.
3. No.
You got a 4.
5.
Okay. So you shake him off.
I think I did my roll wrong. One before.
It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it would have been a 5 versus a 3, but that's okay.
Same result.
Yep.
But you shake him off. He lands to the side, on his side. And Beorn, you are still focusing on this boat?
Yeah.
Okay. Freya, you are completely wrapped up, but you can try to...
Can I
get out
shapeshift
if
into
you
something
want.
else to kind of bust through the, if the webs were wrapped around me, and then I change the shape, wouldn't that bust me out?
Potentially, depending on
Okay.
what shape you change it to.
Change it to a rhinoceros.
Okay. So like I said before, you don't change in size dramatically, but you do change some. So
Giraffe. I'm gonna go linear.
Like a baby rhino.
I mean, you would grow. You wouldn't grow to
Outwardly?
the size of a rhino, but you would grow maybe, twice your size.
Okay.
So you can magically kind of add
Right.
on some mass,
Okay.
but not like
Right.
I went from, a tiger to a rhino.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know why in my head they were generally the same size. I guess they're really not. I was thinking lengthwise. No? I haven't seen a rhino in a while, guys.
Go
It's
back
been a
to the
minute.
zoo.
Go
Yeah.
back to the zoo. Okay.
yeah. So
right.
are you turning it into a giraffe or a rhino?
I'm going to stick with my original rhino.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and I'm going to have you make a physique roll because you are bigger now. You're stretching these webs, and
It's not my strong suit.
you could do.
Well, we've done athletics.
Yeah, I did say you
anytime.
can do athletics when you're shapeshifted. That's kind of your stunt. So yeah, you can use athletics.
5.
Okay. Yeah, you begin to break out of these webs.
Okay.
That's your turn, but you
Oh.
feel like you're almost free.
Okay.
So the spider is going to, now that it, had you wrapped up, it's going to sink its fangs into you and try to inject poison. So,
Ugh. Poison. Try to get through my tough rhino skin. Fortunately, it doesn't work that way, does it? Ooh! 6.
okay.
He got 15.
Well, you got a 4, but then it's going to use both of its free invokes to.
Ugh. Come on. Well,
It's about to go away. You're almost not wrapped up anymore, so it's got to use it.
okay.
So you rolled what? A 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so you take 2 shifts of physical stress as this thing bites you and starts to inject poison into you.
Okay.
And the hawk is going to get up and he pulls this little tube off of his belt and fits a blow dart into it, and it's going to turn and shoot it at.
You're gonna make me go
Beorn.
out on a... Oh, okay, good. I'm like, you better not make me go out on a blow dart. Of all things.
No, he's going to shoot it at Beorn.
Stupid hawk.
Hope your boat's built.
Working on it.
Beorn.
It's a 6.
That is 3.
Okay.
Yep.
So that'd be 3 shifts of physical stress. Your boat like finishes as you feel this prick kind of in the back of your neck, and suddenly this heat start to emanate out from it.
Okay.
Your weakling kids aren't going to be able to drag you on the boat. Just kidding.
Put down my children.
Larson, now kind of realizing what's going on, he was watching, trying to figure out how to involve himself, pulls out his sword and rushes at the hawk, and he's going to make an attack against him.
Wow, look at Larson go. Unless that was the hawk's roll.
He hits and does 3 shifts of physical stress.
That's my boy.
Look, coming through in the time of need.
But Larson doesn't really know what he's doing with the bow.
He just got
but
lucky.
He's pretty good with the sword, so...
He's also, like, trying to attack the Hunt Master guy, which is very different than
That's true.
hunters.
The hawk is one of the weaker hunters, so... He's not even a full, like, transformed animal. He's just a gnome with a mask, so...
And he's not in a place where he's got all those traps and crazy stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so...
Because they're still putting down Larson just by saying how weak of a hunter he's facing.
Alright, so Larson rushes over, hacks at the hawk, and now, so you just finished your boat. Freya, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to attack the spider again.
Okay.
Both claws. Oh. 1.
Was it 2?
Oh. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. A 3.
Okay.
Not that matters.
No.
Alright, so you aren't able to hit it, and it's going to kind of continue trying to sink more venom into you.
Okay.
It's a 7.
4.
Okay, so you take another 3 shifts of physical stress.
That's it.
Alright, so the next hit would start consequences for you.
Okay.
The hawk is going to essentially try to run away back up into his tree. So he's gonna just turn and try to scramble back up the bank, back to the tree, and Adeline turns and she's going to shoot at him with the crossbow.
Not her strong suit.
Nope. Yeah, no, she misses.
She's got a pretty smile, I'm sure.
Alright, Beorn.
Okay, I'll yell at Larson. Tell him to get on the boat.
Okay. Is that what you're doing?
Can I see her? Is she outside the cave fighting the spider?
Yeah, it's like, she's like 15 feet away from you.
Okay. Jeez. I'm assuming that, like, through talking with Larson and Adeline on the way there, like, they know that she left, basically, like, them behind.
Correct. Adeline told you that she left her.
Hopefully Adeline told you that she gave her a choice in the matter.
Or I'll get on the boat.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I don't
you
remember
don't
that
really
tonight.
have a reason to care about her anymore.
Throw me an
so-
arrow or something. Like, shoot on your way out.
Sorry.
You made your choice.
All right.
We'll see how that plays out for you later.
You jump into the boat. Whose turn is it?
Mine.
I think it's your turn. Yeah.
I don't know. I really just guessed that. Is it my turn?
No, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Well, she's gonna keep trying to fight this thing to give Pasha and Caitlin mainly more just time to run.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but they both ran back the way you came up. You know, kind of.
They
up
ran
on
the opposite way.
They ran back the way that everyone came from. So
Why? We were headed towards a different direction,
you were.
and they went the
Yeah.
dumb girls. They ran the opposite way. Oh well. Okay.
They ran the direction that they at least knew where they were going. So
Okay.
It's terrible, really.
Huh?
It's terrible, really.
Beorn's about to pop some popcorn on his boat.
Okay. It's just gonna attack it again.
Okay.
Yeah. This time, yeah. Okay. 2.
That's a 5. So, yeah, you miss again. You went from rolling really, really well to rolling really terribly.
Yeah. I see that, Jesse.
All right. Well, this thing is going to. It senses that you're weak, and it's going to finish, kind of injecting its venom into you.
Finish me off.
It's a 7.
5.
All right. Unfortunately for you, Freya, I'm gonna skip the consequences because
We know
this
where going.
consequence is paralyzed, from poison, and
Oh, yeah.
you,
There's no coming back from that.
yeah, not in this case,
Yeah.
not with Beorn leaving you behind.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, Freya, this poison enters into you, and you feel yourself freeze up, and your last view is this spider wrapping itself, kind of its mouth descending towards your face.
Oh, don't like that. Oddly enough, it's very reminiscent of what she went through.
It's true.
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah. Well, Beorn,
Mhm.
Larson turns and leaps onto the boat.
Trips.
Adeline had already climbed on right after you. What are you doing?
We're pushing off and going down the river.
Okay. You push off and your boat starts to go. You kind of see as this spider eats Freya, and you can see as the hawk is just kind of leaping from tree to tree, trying to follow you,
Mhm.
but this river's going pretty fast and you leave him behind.
Okay.
And we'll end session there.
All right.
Well, Freya, you started out real strong,
I
and
did.
then your rolls failed you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
went downhill fast.
Did great though.
It's okay. We knew going into this. I mean, it's the hunt.
Yeah.
The odds were not in my favor.
No.
That is true. They were not. But, Maddie, you were fantastic.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for letting me crash your sessions.
Play anytime.
It's fun.
Yeah, we'll have to find you another character
Yep.
another time.
Yep. And not maybe in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah,
kind of
it's a
balancing
lose-lose.
out because, like, you were kind of like on your plane, but you were like the goddess, so kind of balance the scales a
The
little
what?
bit. Yindra.
Oh, right. Yeah. I would like to take a middle road next time.
Yeah.
So that's good.
All right.
Too much power, too little power. All right, guys.